Even Floyd, like when you make yourself like we got issues over anger, he's still the best fighter out there. Until somebody beat him, that's who he is.
You think he should step back in the ring?
I think he got to right now because the money gone.
So the money's really gone?
Yeah, that's what you think. It's fight, get the money, spend the money, fight.
All that money?
It's been 2 years. So
is it just his overhead is so high on a day-to-day, month-to-month? Like
I don't even want to talk about it. Like with the lifestyle, that money's gone, trust me. Now it's like, you call him, he'll be at your local hostel in a nightclub because you need that action right now.
Wow.
Are Floyd's comments potentially in breach of contract? He could blow the whole fight up and never fight, and also have taken a cash advance on the fight he may not ever have. He's broke! I'm sorry. It's just the truth. Floyd is so badly hurting for money that this is the stuff he's doing. Knowingly signing contracts for a pro fight just to go and publicly undermine it while taking a cash advance. Essentially going, cool, I need that money now. Who cares?
Floyd Mayweather is now facing serious financial pressure, as reports say the IRS has placed a lien on his assets over unpaid taxes totaling around $7.3 million from 2018 and 2023.
Is being targeted by the IRS over unpaid taxes, with some of his properties and assets being held on lien until the full balance is paid off, and if not, said assets will be fully taken away. This report comes from Business Insider, but is also now being reported by Ring Magazine, in which they reveal that the IRS has filed a lien versus Mayweather in Las Vegas, currently putting a hold on Mayweather's Vegas property due to unpaid taxes stemming from 2018 and 2023 that have now ballooned to $7.3 million.
This isn't just a small issue being blown out of proportion. This is the government officially stepping in and freezing property in Las Vegas until the debt is cleared. And if it isn't, those assets could be taken.
You think he's talking this trash because he wants a rematch? You think he actually wants?
Absolutely.
You think he wants a rematch?
Look, another reason why he's crawled out of his rock, he needs money.
You think he needs money?
Absolutely.
He's always flossy.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
Again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
He's always spending, so I guess.
Absolutely. Look, he's not fighting anymore, so that big money's not coming in. Look at what happened to Mike Tyson. He made what, $500 million?
Right.
You think you can spend $500 million overnight? Absolutely.
What makes the situation more concerning is the timing, because this comes right when Mayweather is already surrounded by questions about his business dealings and upcoming fight with Manny Pacquiao.
Mayweather's broke. I said, no. He's like, no, really. Mayweather's broke. Now, I don't know if it's true.
Right.
This is what this guy told me. I'm like, how could he be broke? He's like, yo, he spends like crazy.
Yeah.
Spends like
I
crazy.
mean, it only could go for so long. I mean, and you're not fighting.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Mayweather even doing any goofy like
But you would think that your investments would continue to grow.
Right.
As long as you keep your spending.
While Floyd publicly called the rematch an exhibition, reports suggest he signed for a professional bout, which could lead to legal problems if contracts are not honored. At the same time, there are claims that he used that same fight contract as collateral for a loan, which raises even more questions about financial stability behind the scenes.
Is that what he's feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure?
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Okay. Yeah, because I know he said
I wouldn't fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or nothing.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Yeah.
Is Fear still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so it's still happening then.
he has to remember that.
But it's still on? It's still happening?
Oh yeah, we did sign the contract already, so there's no reason why,
Why wouldn't?
yeah.
On top of that, multiple Mayweather gyms have reportedly shut down due to unpaid staff and rent issues, with Pacquiao even stepping in to acquire one of the locations and rebranding it. Employees allegedly walked out after not being paid, which adds another layer of concern about how operations are being managed. Now you have multiple parties involved, including the IRS, business partners, and investors, all potentially looking for answers at the same time. For someone who built his entire image around wealth and financial control, this situation directly challenges that reputation.
Boxed everybody. I boxed everybody, and it's so crazy. Like, you know, I had a lot of great days, I had a lot of bad days in the gym. But I tell them I never have bad paydays.
Dimitri Salita told me a story that one time a big heavyweight, a known heavyweight, challenged you. You told Leonard to go get your bag and you dropped him with the body shot.
In a boxing gym, it don't count. You can have good days, you can have bad days. You know, a lot of times guys do good in the gym. You know, they be happy. They feel like if you done good with Floyd Mayweather in the gym, oh, I want a world title, Well, you gotta really look at this now. Slow down. You go home to an apartment. You know, I go home to a palace. There's a difference.
Now, Floyd,
you know, when you say your name, when they say these fighters' names, they say thousands and millions. When you say Money Mayweather.
The silence from Mayweather and his legal team only adds to the uncertainty, because there are a lot of moving parts here, and none of them look simple. Whether this gets resolved quietly or turns into a bigger legal and financial battle, it's clear that this is one of the most serious situations Mayweather has faced outside the ring.
IRS, how much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect, and it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this, he makes so much money, there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
And just when everything around Floyd starts looking like a paperwork storm waiting to explode, Timothy Bradley jumps in, and instead of panicking, he basically says, "Hold on. This might just be business moving exactly how Floyd wants it to move." Bradley isn't defending the situation blindly, but he's breaking it down from a fighter's mindset, saying those advance payments, that's leverage if you structure it right. He's hinting that if Floyd secured money up front and locked it in a certain way, then switching from a real fight to an exhibition might not be chaos. It might be strategy.
Mayweather did that, but you can. You can put a non-refundable attachment on this and be like, all right, hey, I need an advancement for training. I need $3-4 million or whatever for training expenses. And if they agree to say yeah, and he put in a contract that is non-refundable, it's free money.
And I'm sitting here thinking that's the most Floyd thing possible. Because while everyone else sees confusion, Bradley is suggesting Floyd might already be 10 steps ahead, handling obligations, clearing pressure, then adjusting the terms to fit his reality now, which is a 50-year-old fighter not trying to go to war unless it makes perfect sense. But here's where it gets tricky, because even Bradley admits, yeah, if you sign for a real fight, then you sign for a real fight. You can't just rewrite that mid-story without consequences.
Basically free money. So we know, Mayweather was, it's been reported, I should say, allegedly, that, he's been, a little upside down on some of his taxes and some of his properties. And he needs to come back and fight and take care of that. Well, he got some cheese from that event.
So now you've got this tension where Floyd could be operating like a businessman, but the system around him still expects a fighter. And that clash right there is where things can get messy. Bradley even hints that Floyd might have already handled some of those financial issues with that upfront money, which flips the narrative again, because now it's not desperation, it's maneuvering. But at the same time, the outside pressure isn't going away. IRS, contracts, partners, all watching closely. So now the question isn't just what Floyd wants to do. It's whether he can actually bend everything around him to match that plan. And knowing Floyd, you can't rule it out.
Know that money he received, I'm pretty out, man, damn it, I don't know for sure, but damn it, I'm probably about I know I'm 85, 90%. I'm telling you, because I don't think he'd be doing this. You know, this is business. So he's just saying, I understand it was a real fight, but now I want to change it. I want to change it now. I got my advancement.
And just when Bradley's over there breaking everything down like a business seminar, here comes Shane Mosley with a completely different energy. Not contracts, not percentages, just straight fight reality. And it hits different because this is a man who's actually been in there with both of them. Mosley isn't giving you some loud prediction. He's almost hesitant, like he knows too much to speak too confidently. And that's what makes it real. He straight up says, "Look, Floyd isn't the same guy physically. Maybe a step slower, maybe easier to touch now." And instantly your brain goes, okay, so Manny's got a window. But then he flips it and brings up Pacquiao possibly dealing with his own issues, training complications, and now it's like, wait, so both guys might be compromised. That's when this fight stops being about who's better and starts being about who's less worn down. And I like how Mosley breaks their styles again. Like he's reminding you what made this matchup so tricky in the first place.
Floyd's not the same Floyd that he was back in the day. So, you know, maybe he's a little bit older and he's not moving as much. And you know that when you get a little bit older, sometimes you don't have the same foot movements, stuff like that, and you're able to get hit with some shots. So maybe Manny has a chance to get in there and do some stuff. But Manny also has some complications with, I don't know if he had some kind of a stroke or something in the sparring with that. I thought I seen. So, I mean, there's stuff going on with him too as well. So, you know,
Then he doubles down in that same tone. No excuses, no confusion, just a straight line. And that's what makes it dangerous, because you can't really argue with someone who isn't emotionally invested in the argument. And at the same time, he's talking about pushing himself in camp, doing 30+ rounds a day, preparing like this is a real war, not a showcase. And that contrast right there is loud without him raising his voice once. On one side, you've got adjustments, negotiations, possible pivots. On the other side, you've got a man saying, "I'm training for a fight, period." And that's when it shifts, because now it's not just about contracts or money. It's about who is actually committed to the version of the fight that was promised. And Manny, he's making it clear he's already there.
Or the harder puncher was Manny Pacquiao, but the most difficult was Mayweather.
Okay.
As far as, you know, his IQ. He had a better IQ, but Manny had a harder working, you know, repetition where he'll come at you. He's working hard. He's trying to get you. Whereas Mayweather's more technical and will sit there.
When you take all of this together, it doesn't feel like one storyline anymore. It feels like layers stacking on top of each other until you can't ignore what's really happening underneath. On one side, you've got the financial pressure, the IRS situation, the contracts, the business side closing in. All of it raising serious questions about what's going on behind the scenes. Then Bradley steps in and flips it, making you think, hold on, what if this isn't chaos? What if this is calculated? What if Floyd is still playing the same chess game he's always played, just at a different stage of his life? And just when you start leaning that way, Mosley comes in and grounds everything back in reality, reminding you that no matter how smart the business moves are, the body still has limits. Timing still changes. And this version of Floyd isn't the same one that built that untouchable aura years ago. Then Manny walks in calm, composed, not even trying to win the narrative, just stating facts like they don't need defending. And suddenly, the whole situation becomes even more uncomfortable, because now it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about who's actually standing on what they agreed to.
If you ask me, as a boxer, I don't need somebody to push me to work hard, work more, but I did I always put that in my mind when I'm in training. I have to do extra mile to.
You've got business versus obligation, strategy versus expectation, legacy versus reality. Floyd might be trying to control the situation like he always has, adjusting the terms, protecting himself, making sure everything works in his favor. But the problem this time? There are too many moving parts, too many people involved, too much attention on every step. This isn't just a fight anymore. It's a situation where every decision carries weight legally, financially, and publicly. And while Floyd has built his career on staying one step ahead, this might be one of those rare moments where the pressure isn't just coming from an opponent, it's coming from every direction at once. So now the real question isn't just whether the fight happens, it's what version of Floyd we're actually looking at. Is this still the master strategist controlling the board? Or is this a situation where things are starting to slip just enough for people to notice? And on the other side, you've got Manny steady, prepared, locked in, not changing his stance at all, which only makes the contrast sharper because one side is adjusting. The other side is standing firm.
Purpose of exhibition that was long time ago, year after our first fight, but I didn't agree. And then I wanted a real fight, so he signed what I signed. He signed a real fight, and I signed a real fight. He got his advance, so there's no reason to make excuses of that. So that's true.